Hey guys, I am Cara and this is Cara Jo Plans, where I plan and budget my way through my crazy old life. Today we're going to be doing my April budget closeout in the Budget by Paycheck workbook from the Budget Mom. So let's find out how the month went. So first, up at the top, we have all of my monthly inflow with my starting balance, my earned income, other income, and savings used, totaling $6,746.46. And then you have all the categories and my monthly budgeted amounts. And let's take a look at my spending. So for food, I had budgeted $350, went over on that by $133.10. Kind of an unexpected dinner at the end of the month blew that one out of the water there, as well as rising food costs, because I'm usually pretty well able to leave it under $350. So that was part of that problem there. My bills, I had budgeted $1,250, came in at $1,056.40. So we are under by $193.60 there. Household, yoo-hoo! If you guys have been following me for any length of time, you know that my household budget always goes very poorly, very much over budget. So this month I budgeted myself $300 for household because that's pretty much where I was every month. And don't you know, this month I only spent $46.69 on household expenses. So I was under budget by $253.31 there. I don't know what to make of that. That never happens. And the one time I plan for the actual amount that I've been spending, I go way under. So I don't know. Fun money, I had budgeted $150. We ended up spending $156.22. So just over by $6.22 there. Personal, I had budgeted $250. Only spent $132.75. My hair color, I think, was scheduled in April and I ended up having to move it. So that's why I had budgeted extra. So I was under by $117.25 there. Insurance, I had budgeted $350, ended up spending $391.65. So I was over by $41.65. Car expenses, fuel, tolls, parking, etc. Car washes, I budgeted $325. I spent $254.15. So I was also under budget by $70.85 there. Always a good thing, especially with gas prices. So I'm doing something right, staying home or making less trips. Kids, I had budgeted $175. We spent $189.60. So I was over by $14.60 there. I didn't budget to pull any cash out, but I did end up pulling out $50 cash, so we're going to count that as $50 over budget. For savings, I had planned to save $800 this month. I did not. I only saved $95, so that category was under budget by $705. For giving, I had budgeted $600. And I was at $576.73, so I was under by $23.27. Medical, I forgot to budget that I had a dentist appointment this month, so that was $120, so we were $120 over my lack of planning. Investments, I had planned to invest $400 into those, and I didn't do any. So that wasn't good. It's green, but it's not good. I didn't make that goal. Debt, I had planned to pay $800 toward debt. I ended up paying $1,404.75. So that one was over $604. So that's where my investment went. When I try to do too many things at once, you can't. So I decided to focus on paying off some of this debt this month instead. And I did have a business expense for $206.76. Which I wasn't planning on, but I ended up getting some business cards and marketing materials for my new Audaire business, the hair care products. So that went in my regular personal budget this month as opposed to my business budget that has my Etsy stuff in it. I kept that separate still. But I did use personal funds for that as a startup investment on that. So my total spending for April was $5,163.80, and I carried over $1,527.77 to May. And the reason I carried over so much is because of the way my paychecks were hitting. My mortgage and my home or my health insurance and all that stuff comes out the first week of May. So this pay didn't come in until I think April 29th. So that's why there was so much carryover left. So that was a total of $691.57. I was off by $54.89. I don't know where it went, and I'm not going to worry about it. I always get so nervous at closing out the budget because the numbers have to be just right and yada yada. And I film this and I put this out for you guys to see. But you know what? Sometimes numbers don't add up. Sometimes I forget to track something. Sometimes I just don't know what happened. And that's okay. And I want you guys to know that's okay too. I had enough money to cover my bills. I did not go overdrawn. I had enough money to carry to next month to cover the beginning of the bills in May. And there are some reds, but there are also some greens. So everything was covered that needed to be covered. My original plans for the beginning of the month don't always work out. So sometimes in the middle of the month, you need to adjust and change where you're allocating your money. And that's okay. It happens to all of us. Just because you set your budget at the beginning of the month, where your money is going to go, it doesn't always work out that way. So I decided mid-month that I wanted to change some of my priorities. So I did. And I knew that my essentials, like my food, my bills, that stuff was already covered. So I was okay with dropping investments for this month and paying off more on this credit card. So the other thing that this page tracks is percent of your total monthly inflow. And on this page, it doesn't matter so much, but what I want to show you next is where I like to look at those numbers a little bit better. So if I switch over to the next page, this is where I have my comparison between last month and this month. So my monthly inflow change, there was $402 more in my budget in April than there was in March. And then I go category by category and see what percentage of my budget and the dollar amount that I spent month over month. And that kind of helps me look at trends and where I need to adjust moving forward. So food, obviously, I spent 4% last month and 7% of my budget this month. And you can see that food was almost doubled. And I know that the one restaurant was very expensive that I went to in April, but even taking that away, I'm still much higher in food than I was last month. So that's something to think about, rising food costs. Bills were pretty much the same, $1,100 and $1,056. So there's less than a $50 difference there and about the same percentages. Household, here's that one where I usually go over and I didn't this month. Fun money, we did spend more money in April. The weather's getting warmer. We have season passes to an amusement park. So there was more going on in April. So I spent more on fun money there. Personal was down. Insurance was up. Car expenses were actually down by about 1 tank of gas. So, and it's easy to look at that and say, hey, that's about 1 tank of gas difference. So I did something right with saving fuel this month. Kids' expenses were down. Cash, I didn't spend as much cash. I did not put as much in savings. I did do some more giving. I had the medical expenses this month. I did not invest. Debt, I paid off more this month than I did last month. And ending balance doesn't matter too much, just calculating the percentages. And I already explained why I was carrying over so much. I didn't spend any sinking funds this month. And then I had a business expense too. So it kind of gives me a comparison. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of look at these trends to set up my May budget categories and how much I'm planning on spending in each of these categories for May. So some of the changes that I'll probably make, I'll probably keep home up a little higher, and I'm going to keep focusing on debt. So I'll probably try to do some investments and savings, but maybe not as much. So I'll just keep that in mind when I set up my budget for May. So overall, this closeout was a successful one. I hit a lot of my goals, readjusted my goals, and gave myself grace for changing my plan. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have more questions about budgeting and you want to see more budgeting tips, those are over on my Instagram. I do try to post at least one money tip a week and share some videos and kind of explain some of my processes there, in addition to these longer form videos over on YouTube. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, comment below what your least favorite part of budgeting is, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great day.